All right, let's get into some processing. So I talked last week about kind of the why I like black and white. You can refer to that if you want to hear more about it. But today I just want to talk to you about more of the techniques of processing. So I am using Lightroom to start with. You can, you can use whatever editing platform you want. You don't have to use a specific platform. I use Lightroom. I use Photoshop. Those are my main go-tos. But a lot of you guys I know are using Capture One. Whatever you use, you can start up with Silver Efex Pro. But I'm going to show you my workflow. This is a pretty mundane photograph. It's not very exciting. I like the angle of it, and that's about it. But there's not much punch to this photograph. So what I want to do is I'm going to process it as a black and white. So remember, the first thing you do before you press the shutter or before you start processing is you visualize the image. And that's why, first of all, why am I choosing black and white? Because I can visualize what this will look like as a black and white. And my goal will be to bring out these clouds. And I want to create a full dynamic range, which means, as pure white as I can get, pure black as I can get. I want to get that dynamic range. So the first thing I do when I look at an image is in Lightroom here, I'm looking at it in terms of, is there anything I really need to adjust exposure-wise? I'm going to move this over here. So you can see the histogram there. Let's go to the develop module though. So, I might just pull the highlights back a little bit, see how that's okay, just a little bit. They're a little over there. And I might open the shadows up a little bit, not too much. I don't really want to make this area too bright here. So I just opened it up a little bit. I always like to mess around with the blacks and the whites, and I press down my Option key or Alt on a PC. And when you do that, it'll show you when you start to peek out this is in the blacks. I don't mind having this area lost. I really don't mind that at all. And I don't mind certain areas, where the blacks are getting clipped. And then let's see what we're going to do with the whites here. I'm going to also press the Option key, move it to the right. See, I don't want to blow out that stuff, so I'm not going to go very far. Okay. I didn't really do much there, just tiny little tweaks. I pulled the highlights down already. I don't have anything else I want to do. So what I'm going to do here is right click and edit in Silver Efex Pro. Here we go. And it's going to say edit a copy with Lightroom adjustments. Yeah, of course, because I just adjusted it. I want to use those adjustments. And through the magic, boom, 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 we bring up Silver Efex Pro. Okay. If you're not familiar with this interface, I'm going to walk you through it. So basically, these are all presets, and there's a whole bunch of them. There's 58 in here, but I've whittled it down to my favorites. I click on my favorites over here. I've got, I think, 9 in my favorites. And basically what I do is I just click through. This is neutral. It hasn't really done much magic yet. It's not very exciting. So that I'm not going to use. This is high contrast. No, not the look I'm looking for. And it's just, this is, again, based on my visualization, what I kind of saw as the photograph. We're getting closer here. This is called high structure. Let's see if we got a better match. Another high structure, smooth. We're getting close, but we're not there yet. Yeah, I like this one. So this is full dynamic, number 15, full dynamic range, harsh, it says. Let's see what this one looks like. This is called Wet Rocks. See, we lose the clouds there. I don't like that. I want the clouds to pop out. And this is more silver, You know, that's pretty close to the other one. I'm not sure. Let's just see. It's going to be between these two here. I'll go back to full dynamic. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that one. There's some things I want to change about it. You know, it's really a toss-up. The thing I don't like about the full dynamic is I don't really want the girders here to be so bright. I'm going to fix that. But I do like what it's doing as far as bringing out the clouds. Let's just look at more silver again. And this is it, you guys, just trial and error. I'm going to go with full dynamic. This is a starting point, okay? So this is the one I'm going to start with. Now that I picked my preset, I'm going to close it so I get more real estate there. See how that is? I want to get everything out of the way that I don't need. Okay. Well, okay, so that's a starting point. It's you know, here's what we've already gone from, just so we can do a comparison. You can see on the left, that's a split, and this is what it looks like. So we're already a little bit better. Remember, I wanted a good dynamic range. We brought out the clouds. We're getting somewhere with one preset. Now up here, I love this. If you guys have ever studied Ansel Adams, let me move this over a little bit so you can see this better. Okay. So this is the Ansel Adams zone system. It wasn't just developed by Ansel Adams. Fred Picker and a couple other guys developed this with Ansel. And it's basically a way of visualizing your photograph from pure black, which is zone 0, to pure white, which is zone 10. And when you hover over this, you can actually see what's present in each zone. So cool. I love this. Now, we don't have any pure blacks here that I'm seeing. You can see as I get into zone 1, there's a little bit showing up right here underneath there. Underneath the span there, there's some zone 1 stuff. Can you guys see that? It might be a little hard. And then as we get into the other zones, they're becoming more apparent. And then, yeah, it just highlights whatever zone you've got going on there. So this is pretty cool. I can go through the whole thing. I don't have a zone 10 either. So that tells me if I want a complete dynamic range, I'm going to have to enhance the blacks and I'm going to have to enhance the whites. So we're going to kind of go in that direction. Now, there's a lot of places I could start all these sliders here. I'm going to start way down here. Now, if you've ever used colored filters on black and white, you know what these different filters do. And I happen to know that red is going to be the right filter because red will enhance the blacks in the sky. I just know that from working with filters. So look what happens when I apply a red filter to this. Boom. Now I brought out the blacks in the sky. It's also augmented the white, not the white, but the gray, you know, the lower gray here. I'm not really crazy about that because it sort of pulls your eye away from the span here. I'm going to fix that. But just so you can see, you can just try your different filters. And honestly, you guys, a lot of this is trial and error. So you try, that's an orange, here's a yellow. Let's see what that does. Yeah, I'm not getting any joy out of these here. Okay. Yeah, that's a blue filter. I'm going to go back to red. Okay, so there's red. There's a lag between. There we go. Okay, I like that because it is bringing out the clouds. It's getting a little crisper, dark, you know, the edges here are a little crisper. I think that's looking pretty good. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the film types. Now, I love this about Silver Efex Pro because I am essentially, basically a film photographer. And I know my films, and one of the ones I use all the time is Panatomic X. Let's see how that looks. Ooh. See, that just popped it even a little bit more. And I'm not even going to look, but you can scroll down these other films until you find one that you like. I'm going to stop at Panatomic X. I don't want to waste a lot of time going through a bunch of other films. See, that's way too contrasty. So, okay, let's go back to our good friend Panatomic X. ISO 32, you guys. Think about that. I mean, that's a very fine-grained film, but you're also, a lot of times you're going to have to shoot with a tripod when you use that. Okay, so we're getting a lot closer. Again, let's do a comparison here. Look at how much more, definition we brought to the structure here, and we've definitely brought out the clouds. You can do this again and just do your split screen. So that's cool. We're getting there. So what else do I want to do? I'm going to, I don't see a lot that I'm going to play around with in any of these sliders. I don't really need to change brightness. The soft contrast is already fine. I'm not going to do that. I don't need to bring out structure. Is like clarity and texture in Lightroom. I'm seeing plenty of that. I don't feel like there's anything I need to do with the structure. So what I am going to do is I do want to bring down these girders here. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to get a control point, and I'm going to pop it over, start over here. And you can adjust the size of the control point. I'm going to get it. I'm really just targeting the girder area here, where it's, to me, a little too bright. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to size it so that it's, there we go, come on. I'm going to get the right size of this thing. Okay, there we go. Please subscribe and enable the bell so you don't miss any of our new shows. Like the video and please share it and leave your comments. I love hearing from you. And remember to get out and capture your own images of life.